Hey guys, welcome. This is me, Shashank Udupa. Sorry, I think I haven't been very consistent because I just picked up a very bad case of viral. I'm currently on medications right now, but I thought I'll take some energy and make off this last video for this year. So today I'm going to talk about my investing strategy for 2022, and there are a lot of trends that I'm observing that will become very famous in the year 2022. So I'm trying to gear up for this year itself. Now, what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to talk about the different sectors that I'm bullish on. We'll look at some of the stocks, we'll look at some of the small cases that you can invest in that sector, and we will look at why this might be the next big thing in the future. Again, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below that what you feel in 2022 will be the trending sectors as well. So without wasting too much time, let's get into the first sector. Now, the first sector that I'm bullish on is the pharmaceutical sector. And the reason why I'm suddenly bullish again on the pharmaceutical sector is because of Omicron. Now, if you've seen what's happening with Omicron, it's spreading as fast as possible right now. We thought COVID has gone away. I remember telling this once in my older video that every time we discount COVID and we say, you know what, COVID is over, and we remove our masks and we're like, okay, now we're stronger than COVID. COVID always comes back in a stronger zone and comes and fights the humans again, right? And now it feels like COVID is just evolving. It's like a transformer. It's gone from normal COVID-19 to Delta to now Omicron, and then what else is supposed to come, I have no idea. But it just doesn't seem to stop, and it's going on for more than 2 years now, and it's been really annoying. But the reason why I'm saying this Omicron is going to create a small rally in the first half of the next year, especially for the pharmaceutical sectors, is because of this. Let me show you. Right? Now, I don't know if you've heard of this drug called Molnupiravir. So basically, this is the drug that is now being used, and it's actually approved by India as well for an emergency usage. But this has been approved right now to treat COVID-19. Okay, now this pill, obviously the pharma stocks are gaining after center approves. What is the main logic of this is because now again there is a massive drug usage coming in India, and there is a lot of drugs consumption happening in India again. All the APIs, all the small materials that are required, the entire pharmaceutical sector will start doing really well. But in this case scenario, right, if you ask me, Shashank, what are the stocks that might do well because of this? By the way, a full dose or full treatment of this drug is costing approximately 3,000 rupees. Aurobindo Pharma already got the approval by DGCI to manufacture and distribute this. But apart from this, there are a few other companies, Divis Labs. Laurus Labs actually told this in one of their earlier press releases long time ago that the Medicine Patent Pool and Merck got into a license agreement for this drug as an oral antiviral COVID-19 medicine. Oral means it's a tablet that you can take, and it increases the access in lower middle income countries, right, which is LMIC countries. Now Laurus and MPP have a very long and successful partnership in various things, and Laurus will approach MPP for this license. So this was done in a very earlier case. So this is something that Laurus will benefit, Divis Labs is going to benefit, Aurobindo Pharma is going to benefit, and the entire pharma sector itself is going to benefit. So you should do some research on this new drug that is coming out. So every time there is a new drug that comes up, a new antiviral drug that comes up, the entire industry starts getting super excited. And if you see in the last few days, the pharmaceutical index has gone up and a lot of pharma stocks have gone up. If you saw Laurus Labs in the last 1 week, it has gone up by around 9.78%. Again, guys, whatever I show in this video is only for educational purposes. Do not consider this as a buy or sell recommendation. Okay, I'm just showing you what's happening in this space right now. Now, if you look at this, right, there are multiple companies that are looking very attractive in the pharmaceutical space. As I mentioned before, one was Laurus, one was Divis. Divis looks really good. So if you are planning to look at this in a futuristic point of view, you should definitely keep this in your watch list. If that is not interesting, then you can just go invest in the pharma tracker that is there. Okay, this is on the Smallcase website. This is free, so I'm only showing you the free stuff. And also you can invest in this and keep it for a long period of time. But this is again just a small case. So you can actually go and look at the stocks that they have, and these are all the pharmaceutical stocks that are there. This is for people who don't want to do their own research and don't have the time to do their own research. So I'm just going to show you one free small case so you don't have to pay for it, right? Awesome. So this was basically the first sector that I wanted to show you. Now, the second sector that I'm bullish on is the infrastructure space. Now, I've been saying that infrastructure is going to do really well, especially in India, because India has lined up a massive infrastructure budget and has made many plans for the infrastructure that is coming out in the next few years. Now, whenever, I'll tell you why this happens, right? Whenever a country is trying to go into a rapid development mode, the infrastructure is the only thing that needs to get boosted up really well, right? Now, we have seen after COVID that India put a lot of emphasis on infrastructure, and if infra industry is going up, then all the all the stocks or all the subsidiary stocks, which are some things that help the infrastructure space. Now, whenever I talk about infrastructure, you might think metals. Yes, metals is a very good thing, but there are so many small things. Okay, when infrastructure happens, you need pipes also. There are so many pipe companies that are there right now. If building comes in, okay, you need cements now. So there's a lot of cement companies. You need different type of other engineering companies. Stuff like L&T comes into the picture right now. So there are so many different stocks that come in the infrastructure space. And let me just give you an idea of what is there in the infrastructure space and why am I saying that this is going to be a massive thing coming in the future. It's basically because of this, right? Let me just show you. Now, the National Infrastructure Pipeline or NIP projects currently stand at 9,300 projects that are there currently in India. The pipeline, right? It's not fully finished yet, but if you see in the last few years, especially in the last 1 to 2 years, you've seen that a lot of digging has been happening all around India, mainly because of metro projects, connectivity projects, new airports coming out everywhere, Adani taking most of the airports away from the other guys as well. But basically there are 9,300 projects over 34 sectors with an estimated investment of around $1,947 billion in 7,400 projects. So this is what is the National Infrastructure Pipeline. Now obviously, understand this, that if this actually goes through and this infrastructure, I mean, it's not something that will just get over in 1 year. This is something that will keep going on. But if you identify, or if you can identify the best type of stocks that are there in this space, and you can identify it early and you can catch that trend, so keep an eye out. The reason why I'm saying in 2022, just keep an eye out on all this, right? Because in 2021, if you ask me, Adani Ports literally got everything. Now, obviously, a lot of conjecture on why they got these deals. But if you're looking at this, right, infrastructure happening from roads, ports, airports. Now, ports, Adani Power won a lot of deals. Airports, Adani again won a lot of deals. He took out the airports as well. Power, Adani Power also took out a lot of things. So a lot of these things you should just keep in your eyesight right now, because a lot of these things are happening in the space. So we couldn't take this advantage in 2021. Some of you did, but just look at this in a 2022 year perspective, right? Because there are massive projects outstanding. Somebody has to win these projects, and if they win these projects, eventually they have to start building these projects. So start looking out for who can win these projects, number one. And if they win the projects, whom do they appoint, and where are the raw materials being sourced from, right? So the real estate sector or the infrastructure sector looks very attractive right now. If you look at it from a small case perspective, not only does the infrastructure sector look good, even the real estate sector look good. And I've told you why real estate sector looks good is because if the IT sector does really well, a lot of disposable income comes in the hand of individuals like me and you. And a lot of people right now are buying houses very early on in their life, because the interest rates to buy a house, the loan rates to buy a house is very low right now. So keep an eye out on this as well. This is more for real estate, but look at the infrastructure sector as well and keep an eye out for both of this, right? This is something that will do some waves in the next year. So keep an eye out for this. Now, the third industry that will do really well, and I'm very bullish on this industry, is the IT industry. Now, obviously, I'm very bullish on the IT industry because in the last few years, we've seen a massive push towards consumers getting into the IT space, businesses getting into the IT space, and all thanks to COVID itself, right? Because COVID pushed Indians, or not only Indians, COVID actually pushed humans to move out of their comfort zone and adopt technology for people who weren't adopting technology as well. And now we have got so used to different kind of technology out there, especially with crypto, blockchain, and whatever is happening on different parts of the world. A lot of things are being used right now. So IT is going to do really well. And let me show you this amazing article that's there on Money Control that talks about 5 trends that we're going to see in 2022 with respect to the IT space. Now, the 5 trends that what they are saying in 2022 is, one is metaverse, everything. Now, metaverse has recently kicked up this hype. Web3 has kicked up a massive hype. Now, if you talk about Web3, people say, okay, Web3 is equal to crypto, Web3 is equal to blockchain. It might be, but it still relates to the IT sector. And a lot of companies are also coming out with making new platforms and making new systems for the Web3 space, for the VR space. So IT will definitely step up. A lot of new projects might come into that. So metaverse is one thing. Cryptocurrency and blockchain. Now, if you're looking at this, a lot of companies are adopting blockchain technology. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, but a lot of companies are adopting blockchain technology and using this with different clients as well. So this is something that's doing really well. Now, another very interesting thing is vertical e-commerce platforms. Okay, now this is very similar to the Nykaa vertical e-commerce platforms are basically your e-commerce platforms that are there, which are doing just one single thing and are focusing too much on that. So for example, look at this, right? Younger VECs like Licious, which is the meat delivering company, and Mama Earth, which became a unicorn today itself, are growing faster and attracting a massive pool of capital. Now this is also doing really well, and these guys are heavy on technology, and these companies are growing really well. Now we have become more used to buying stuff online than buying stuff offline. I don't remember when was the last time I went offline shopping. So this is something that we can keep looking out in the futuristic perspective. Now, financialization of internet. Now this is important because a lot of BNPL schemes are coming out. BNPL is basically buy now, pay later, right? So credit systems are coming out a lot in the space. And again, all these credit systems use technology at its forefront. The payment gateways use technology as a forefront. And what is happening right now that the tech space is doing really well. If dollar goes up and INR comes down, basically if dollar goes to 75, 76, 77, IT companies tend to do really well. And IT companies are always recession proof. They're recession proof, and IT companies are also COVID proof. Right? In fact, when COVID, they actually do really well. So even if COVID lasts for another 2 years, you know for a fact that IT will definitely do well for the next 2 years. So this is something that I'm just keeping a track on. Few stocks that I have in my watch list, as I mentioned before, was Happiest Minds. I'm also keeping Bajaj Finance in the watch list. Mastech is there on my watch list, and a few other stocks are there in my watch list. Again, these are just watch list stocks. Please do not go buy them in my name. Or if you don't have that kind of a knowledge and you don't want to do anything, you can, this is the free small case that I'm showing everyone, so you can just go buy, not buy, you can just go look at this free small case as well, right? Because it's actually outperforming the equity large cap space as well. Next, now let me talk about the other things that I'm doing for this year. Now the next thing that I'm going to do in 2022 is slightly different from what I do always, is I'm going to start investing in debt funds, right? This is not something that I've done this year, but I'll tell you why I'm going to start investing in debt funds. Now there are 2-3 things that I'm going to do different in 2022, and I want to tell you guys that. Now, the reason why I'm investing in debt funds is because the Fed has recently said that they are going to increase the interest rate. So whenever the interest rate goes up, what happens is the liquidity in the market goes away. Like the stock market becomes unattractive. It becomes not so sexy anymore, right? So at that point, people would just want fixed income schemes. They want to invest somewhere and they want to get a fixed income scheme in their bank account, right? And this, a lot of people will be like, hey Shashank, fixed income is there. It's a fixed deposit, gives me 5 to 6 to 7% return, and it's awesome. But there is fixed income schemes that give you slightly better, and these are like AAA corporate bonds are there that give you returns as well. These might be from Tata or different big companies that give you AAA schemes. So the debt market or the debt funds might look slightly more attractive coming towards the later half of 2022. This won't happen in the first half, not in the first 6 months, but in the next 6 months, once the Fed rate second hike happens or towards the third hike, you will see the interest towards bonds will keep coming more. And this is something that has happened before as well. So that is something that I'm going to keep a track of, and I'll do a separate video on bonds and how to look at what bonds are good or bad. So I'll do a separate video on that. But that is something that I'm investing in 2022 towards the second half, not in the first half. Now, another thing that I'm going to do right from Jan onwards is I'm going to start diversifying my entire investment portfolio. Now, I am heavily invested in India, right? And I've heavily invested everything into the equity stock market of India. Now I know for a fact that the Fed rate is going to increase, and there are a lot of things that are happening in US, especially with metaverse and the NFT world, and there's a lot of massive hype happening there, and I want to be a part of it. So in 2022, starting Jan onwards, I'm going to start investing in the US stock market as well. This is why am I doing this? Because I'm already overexposed in Indian stock market. I want a little bit of chunk from the US stock market. So what if US stock market outperforms Indian stock market? It's not happened in a long time, but there are some stocks that are outperforming the US index really well. And now if you're looking at it from a futuristic perspective, and I'm not talking about FANG companies, right? I'm not talking about the big guys like Meta and Netflix and all that. I'm talking about the other companies that not many people are talking about, but they are a part of this Meta universe. Like for example, let me give you some examples, right? Everyone's talking about Facebook, Apple, Google, Netflix, this, that, right? I'm looking at stocks like Nike, because Nike recently acquired a NFT studio, and that is going to impact them really well. So I'm looking at Nike now. I'm also looking at something known as AMD, the things that you need, Nvidia and AMD. So whatever happens in the future, if gaming is going to become a massive industry, you still need those chips, right? You still need those graphic cards and all that. So AMD, Nvidia is something that I'm looking at. Intel chips will never go out of fashion. It's not in the FANG company, but the Intel chips will do really well. So I look at it from a slightly different perspective. I don't go into companies that are already a large cap company. I'm looking at the midish cap going into largest. Again, I'll put my whole theory into US stocks very soon. Jan itself, I'm going to do my first video on Nike, so I'm going to show you that as well. And finally, my last investment, actually two more things that I'm going to tell you, the investment thesis for 2022, buying a little bit of gold again 5%, not more, because I know for a fact the stock market is going to become very unsexy or not sexy in the near future. So I'm going to start investing slightly in gold. And finally, a little bit of crypto as well, another 10% in crypto. So 5% gold, 10% crypto, 15% there. Now currently I'm heavy into equity stock market of India, but I'm going to slightly slowly diversify that out and reduce my equity allocation to approximately 60% and invest around 10 to 15% in the US market and keep another 10 to 15% in crypto and gold and little bit of debt funds as well. So this is basically my entire investment plan for 2022 and the sectors that I'm slightly bullish on. Again, the sectors that I'm bullish on might not be the same sectors that you are bullish on. These are some observing trends that I'm looking at. So I'm keeping this as my track for 2022. Again, it might be slightly different from yours. Again, I want to thank you guys for one more thing, that this is the last video of 2021. Obviously not the last video of my channel, but the last video of 2021. And I want to wish you guys a very, very happy new year, and for all the love that you guys have given me throughout this entire journey of the last 3-4 months. I've been putting out content day in day out, and you guys have showered me with insane amount of love, and I love the fact that you guys do that, right? So whatever I do here is for you guys, not for anyone else. You guys give me the validation and approval, and that is why I'm here. If no one was watching my videos, I wouldn't be here doing this thing. So again, I think my whole year would not be complete without the audience that is supporting me so well. Again, thank you guys. This is me, Shashank Udupa, signing off for the last time in 2021. Have a great new year. Stay safe, wear your mask. This Omicron is really annoying. So please be careful and take care of your loved ones as well. Okay, see you. Bye.